Hey Aquarius, how's it going? In the pre-shuffle, I was seeing Two of Cups and I was also seeing Knight of Swords. There can be somebody that you're hearing from, or there can be moves that you are making to connect. Two of Cups can also be something going on within your relationship with yourself. It can have to do maybe with like you and somebody that you're close with. We are starting the reading off with Ace of Swords. I'm seeing Two of Cups on the bottom of the deck. Maybe something's been clarified now with you and another person, but this is going to come back to a space where something may be clarified with you and yourself. So you may be like on the same page with yourself now about something. Seems like this is going to help you with something you want to create. It's like a breakthrough when it comes to something that you're trying to manifest right now. Some of you can be a work thing. King of Pentacles. This can be about you connecting with what it is that you need. It can be connecting with what it is that you want. Anything that's going to help you kind of like live the lifestyle that you want to be living, provide in a way that you want to provide. This can be something with like your time even. It's going to have to do with like resources that are precious to you. So this can maybe be something going on where like you get extra time that you needed. It's going to be like something that you felt that you needed that's helping you do something that you wanted to be doing. And I'm definitely seeing this, like having Ace of Swords will feel like a breakthrough of some sort where you're probably like putting in some sort of effort or trying to figure something out or resolve something or like problem solve, or you were like, you know, if I could just like break through this wall here, it would make everything a lot easier. Having that Ace of Swords can be the moment that you break through whatever that wall was that you were working with, and that this is going to just help things run a lot more smoothly. And it can be something where it makes it easier for you to do your job. Whether this be like an actual job or it's just like something that you have going on right now where this is like allowing you to do that. You know, like maybe there's something that you've been wanting to do that now that this is happening, it's going to allow for you to do that. Like maybe the means to do that. Because this feels like it's connected more with the means of something that maybe you didn't have before for some reason. And it's helping you with like something that you are building. There can be something with the moon having to do with this. I'm seeing Ace of Swords and High Priestess be connected. This can even be a really important epiphany that you're having. Interesting. Okay. Combination I wasn't expecting to see. After the High Priestess, we have Seven of Swords and we also have the Devil coming out. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely seeing that there had been a block that you've been dealing with. I'm seeing that we have the devil underneath the magician. And when you have that, it's like trying to like do something that is kind of like misconstrued in some way. Like we can be trying to like cultivate something, but we're not like doing it the wrong way. We're having mishaps. Stuff is kind of going wrong because of that. It can be some type of block that we're experiencing too. It can be a block related to fear as well, or it can bring up that part of you that wants to really cling to things, and then it's not allowing for stuff to unfold in the way that it needs to. Having Moon, Magician, 5 of Pentacles, you could have been like struggling internally because of this, because Moon and Mercury are both going to be like heart and mind energy. So what's going on inside? And when you have 5 of Pentacles, you can like not be feeling good. You can also feel like you're not finding any creative solutions. But more than anything, you can be not trusting yourself. Because with Magician, this is about your like inner vision that you have, and the High Priestess can give you answers as to how to like make that materialize. But when you have 5 of Pentacles, there's something going on where there's like an issue with that. So it can be you communicating with yourself like, I want to do that thing, but then you're not actually following the way that you need to be doing it in order to make that happen, because you can be too controlling with the process. It's like you want a certain outcome, or I don't know, like this is giving the feeling of being too specific and particular with something where you're not leaving room for it to actually unfold. So there could have been something of that nature that was going on here. But now I see you kind of coming out of that, which feels like it can be helping you break out of a cycle that has been feeling disappointing. If the noise continues, I'll cut the video, but I hear it going away. Okay. So High Priestess will be what you know. When you have 7 of Swords and you have the Devil coming up, this can be something emotionally that you want to avoid. Why this would be coming up? Yeah. Having Ace of Swords and having High Priestess, this is like no more denying I know the truth. But having 7 of Swords, having Devil, having 5 of Cups, having 5 of Pentacles can be wanting to like forget it, wanting to like pull it out of your mind and pretend that you didn't come to that realization. But this feels like something has become abundantly clear. Like it could not be more clear when you have Ace of Swords and you have High Priestess. This means that you have had like an emotional and spiritual and psychological revelation here that can no longer be denied. You're like 100% clear on what your intuition has been telling you. But then having, and this is like meant to help you, this epiphany that you're having, this realization that you're having, this clarity that you're having, it's meant to help you with somewhere where you had not been showing up, but maybe weren't totally aware that that's what was happening. But it wasn't allowing you to like manifest something that you've been wanting to manifest. It was getting in the way of that. So you're basically becoming aware of a block that you've been having. Now, why 7 of Swords and the Devil and 5 of Cups is up here, like it makes sense to see this combination together, because when we have that, it can mean that the truth hurts in some way. There can be something that we didn't want to admit to, because then we're going to have to say, like, we're going to have to come face to face with loss, with grief, with endings, with stuff closing out, with the fact that that wasn't what we expected. There's going to be something going on there that the devil will come through and say, hey, if you can't handle that emotionally, I'll take it away for you for the time being. It doesn't make it go away, but it can put off having to deal with those things. So it can be one of those like ignorance is bliss moments where it's not really, but you're kind of like numbed enough that you don't have to experience what you're going through. But the devil only comes out to help you with something when you feel like you can't handle it. When we have High Priestess and we have Seven of Swords, this can be something that you know to your core, but Seven of Swords can be the ways that we deceive ourselves, the way that we lie to ourselves because we don't want the truth. But having this Ace of Swords here, I think you like uncovered something where you can't really deny it anymore. And you can be like, wow, I wasn't even aware that I had been repressing that. Because like unconsciously you can feel like you can't deal with it. Like it's gonna ruin the whole game if you're like, I'm deliberately trying to forget here. This is something that we can like sometimes not even realize that we repressed, or that we were not knowing. So it can be like, I'm on the mission to find the truth. Meanwhile, every time the truth starts popping up, you can be like running away from it. But again, like not 100% aware of it. It can be something like that. But this can be the thing that doesn't allow you to like maybe enjoy a process fully and deeply. And this can also be somewhere where you were feeling like you couldn't maybe be on your own doing something here. Because this is maybe something that forces you into a place where there's a need for initiation that maybe wasn't happening before. And maybe because you weren't seeing that within yourself. But this feels like wanting to break out of whatever situation this was. But the only way to do that is going to be to face the feelings that you've not been being present to. This can be somewhere where your ego had really taken over. And it can create confusion when it comes to the roles that you play as well, and about your identity. This feels like you were avoiding dealing with something. And I think again, like it had to do with something that like I can see this thing being very, very clear, but it can, just be something that you didn't want to have to deal with because of what that meant. So this can mean, it can mean that you end up finding yourself in a place where you can be kind of like building or creating something that isn't real and isn't true because of wanting to deny the reality of a situation. So it can kind of keep things going on. You know, like Magician is that part of us that is this creative, like manifesting generator within us. And when you have the Devil there, this can be you creating like lies. This can be, and I feel like it sounds kind of harsh when it comes out like that, but it can be something where it's like we're trying to like create this reality that is not a reality, or we're trying to play this game that is not like based in truth, but it can be because we don't want to accept something. So it can be basically like manifesting something that binds you even more to illusion. And it can be because you don't want to face the reality. I'm seeing Death card on the bottom of the deck. So you could be closing something out and you can be like willing to surrender. Because with Magician and Devil, it's kind of like something keeps trying to die and you're doing crazy things to keep it alive when it's like not supposed to be alive anymore. And the means that are being used in order to do this just dig you deeper and deeper into a hole. But you know, when you kind of start doing something and it's like, well, I already went this far, and so you just like keep going with it again and again and again, where you like almost can't stop yourself, and it's already like so bad that you just keep going. It feels kind of like that to me, the way that things have been. And all just to avoid being present to the reality of whatever this is for you. All of it just to avoid that. So it can be like, I didn't want to have to admit that that was really what was going on, because then I had to look at this and see that that's what was really going on. So this will be like anything that will help you like escape from dealing with that. But then it ends up like ruling your whole life, because like your whole existence becomes about like denying the reality, and so like everywhere you turn, it's like it becomes more and more difficult until it's like starts being a very active choice to be doing that. You know, like it can be something, I feel like I don't need to come up with an example for this. When we have the King of Pentacles, it can be, let's say, something that you invested in that is meaning to come to an end now, but you have been putting off allowing it to come to an end, and by any means necessary keeping something alive that death is now coming for and saying it's over. And what the suggestion is, what's going to help you is to face your feelings about the reality of this situation. Because there can still be, I don't know, maybe there's like not that denial anymore, because I really think that you're having a breakthrough where you're actually seeing everything crystal clear, and you're seeing all the ways that you had been hiding from the truth, and all the ways that you had been, I mean, I'm seeing Shadow King of Pentacles energy. And when you have that, it can be like anything to stay in control, anything to not let go of the stuff that you've invested in, even when it's time to come to an end, anything to like hold on, anything to like keep stuff alive, anything to run away from having to like face the music as far as your ego is concerned, as far as your identity is concerned, anything to like not let go of this position and what you've associated with playing this position. So all of these things will kind of add up, and you can be seeing where you've actually, Devil and Magician can be creating much more harm than good, and it is actively creating a false reality. Wish I had like a good example for the way that the energy is. I think that we really do feel like that's what's best for us, because we feel like we can't handle the truth, and so that's what ends up happening. Something about facing your own independence as well is part of this too. I think that this could have been like allowing you to half enjoy something that was going on, but there was this like paranoia that things were going to slip through the cracks because it wasn't legitimate. Like it wasn't genuine. It's kind of like if you can like stay awake and never go to sleep, you'll be able to like continue the charade of this, but you get really, really, really sleepy. And then in that moment, like everything breaks and you're like, the whole fantasy is over. It's kind of one of those moments within the energy where you can't really deny this anymore. And even though this is meant to be helpful, because it's saying, hey, you have all of this backed up paperwork emotionally that you need to look at. We need you to check this out right now. You can be like, yeah, I knew that was back there, but, you know, until you're kind of like forced to face it, it's going to be one of these moments. But this also means too that you can be seeing like what you're so scared of, because this could have been something that feels like devastating to lose in a way. But I want to come back to the energy that I was seeing in the beginning. This is helping you create something that it's not going to be like with these limitations. This is going to help you create something where you don't have to keep looking over your shoulder and feel paranoid because you're using glue and tape to hold something together, because it doesn't really go together like that. And yeah, when you have the devil, you kind of have to sell your soul to keep something alive. So maybe you've been compromising something that, like, you'll get away from this situation and be like, I can't believe that I was doing that just to keep this alive. But you know, when you're in it, it feels different, and it can feel like good in a bad way. Because we feel like we're getting away with something when we have this sort of energy where it's like, I'm the one that's in control. I say like when this deteriorates and when it stays alive, but it's kind of like using your powers to create more harm within your life and to just, again, like bind you further to something where it's like, I can't let anything get in the way of this. And we, again, become like more and more focused on keeping this thing alive because it doesn't really belong alive. And doing all of these things to do it, where it's like, it starts draining energy from like other areas of our life. And this becomes our whole focus, is like trying to have something exist that's not really meant to exist. And yeah, what you have to do in order to keep that thing alive, that's when you know that something's really out of alignment, when you have to go to like these extremes or these lengths. And it's not even that you really want to keep the thing alive in the first place. It's that keeping something alive can be helping you avoid the truth that this is really over. And as I said before, this is the part of you that's like, what, you can't handle that? I'll help you out with that. And it's something that you like totally give your power away to this too, as well. That's also the thing with the devil, is that because you're outsourcing that power, you have to make more and more sacrifices for it. But it's like you're throwing things into the fire, and then they disintegrate, and then you have to sacrifice more and throw it into the fire. And then you're like, I don't really even have anything left to be feeding it. And you're just like digging around trying to feed the flame of this. But it's endless. Like, it's never going to stop. There's never a time when you like pay up and then you just get to keep this. Because it's not meant to exist. And you know too what this kind of feels like? You know, like in a movie when there's like a character that's meant to be dying, and so in order to keep it alive, like instead of just like allowing the process to naturally die out, somebody will start doing crazy experiments on the person. And it's like the lengths that people will go in order to like keep something alive ends up very much like mangling things. And it's like, I've created a monster. It can kind of be like that within your life, where you look at this and I think this is the moment where it all kind of clicks, and you can see like, I was doing all of this just because I didn't want to let it go. And I think it's very normal. I think it's very, very normal to do that, especially when we are very identified with the things that we invest in and need them to be structured in a particular way, where we are not allowing for the natural conclusion of things. When we feel like I'm the one that gets to determine that rather than the cosmic forces. So then you end up like battling the cosmic forces essentially. So at this point in time, I think this is a moment when you're kind of waking up out of that and seeing things for what they are. And you can be like seeing yourself in a light that may be like difficult to see, but you can also see how your shadow gets empowered through these cycles. And this can definitely be something that like your ego was feeding off of too. I will say this, having King of Pentacles and having Five of Cups can be something that you invested in that, as long as you had it around, it could have like been keeping some sort of pride alive within you. And like admitting defeat here in this situation, which is really just like letting things come to their natural conclusion, it can be something that hurts, not because this shouldn't be over, but because you could have been like equating your like worth or your self-esteem with like keeping this thing alive. But it comes from a shadow place. Because this could have been giving you some sort of validation. It's like when the marriage is supposed to end, and instead of allowing it to come to a close, like maintaining it, even though you feel like you're kind of selling your soul to keep it alive, or like the relationship or whatever, because you get some sort of ego boost off of like having the relationship be alive, and like other people are like, wow, you guys are together and this and that, and it's like, it should have been done already. Or it can be a job or something like that. Like maybe it's a job where you feel like you're compromising things that you're really not okay with to be playing that role, but at least everybody pats you on the shoulder and is like, wow, it must be amazing to like work for that company. You know, like these sorts of things where it can be a blow to the ego because your ego is, because you're identified with this role that you play and the things that come along with it. But it's not coming from a place where it's coming from a place where you have like outsourced your power to whatever this structure is that you have going on and whatever this role is that you've been playing. So there's an over-identification with something to the point where that becomes the focal point, and it very much like sways out of balance because of that. And I mean, we have Capricorn here. This is the only sign. We have Capricorn. I'm looking at Scorpio on the bottom of the deck. I'm also seeing Moon and I'm seeing Mercury. And Capricorn is associated with materialism. It can be, among other things. So there could have been like something connected with the materialism, but there was... Interesting. I'm hearing an underlying social threat. So I do think that this was something that could have been like affording you some sort of power, some sort of luxury, something that could have become more important than looking at the means that were being used to continue the cycle. Because this feels like being so focused on the ends that it's like by any means necessary. And I think those means that were being used crossed a line. But as I said before, it's like one of those things where it's like you cross the line like maybe by accident and then you just keep going and you're like, it's so horrible, but I can't stop. It's like one of those moments. But now this feels like having Ace of Swords and having High Priestess feels like breaking out of that, where you're like, what was I doing? It's just going to be one of those moments like that. For some of you, this can feel kind of shocking. For others of you, you can just be like feeling like you're crumbling because you see that like grief really drove, or like denial of grief really drove you this far. But yeah, what the suggestion now is for you to just be present to everything that you're feeling when you're looking at this as it actually is. And like no more of this trying to continue to do this anymore. Because I do feel the sense like this definitely could have crossed a bit of a line and you are coming back from that now. Having Death card on the bottom of the deck is like, this is done for real. We're not going to be playing this game anymore. So yeah, it can be a time when lightning strikes. But you know, everything can look very different in retrospect. I think that like your intuition was communicating with you too throughout this, but you could have just like not been open to hearing it. Yeah. We all have our reasons, right? All right, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting and tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.